Most of you have been playing Grand Theft Auto with one of the worst visual settings turned on, and you probably don't even know it, don't even realize it. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys what to do, how to fix this, because I want you to have the best quality picture you can possibly have. And this right here is probably what it looks like for your game, and this is not at all how it should look. Now, this may not apply to everybody, but for a lot of people it does. And what I'm talking about is your HDR settings. Your HDR setting is your high dynamic range, and what it really is, just to simplify it, is that HDR it makes your colors more vibrant. It just makes your colors look better. It makes them pop. However, Grand Theft Auto is a 13-year-old game, and it was not built as a HDR game. It is a SDR game. So with the expanded and enhanced versions, and with the PS5, the PS5 Pro, the Xbox Series X, even the S, the high dynamic range, or the HDR feature, I believe is just simply on by default. And what it does is, because GTA is not a HDR style game, when your HDR setting is turned on, it's basically just a filter. And what it does is all of the whites and the lighter colors in the game, they get washed out like you're seeing right here, and the darks are too dark. Your blacks are too black, and you don't get any detail. Your hallways and shadows and dark rooms are too dark. You can't see anything. Your blues, greens, and reds may appear to look better, but they're just oversaturated, and again, just too vibrant. Now follow along with me while you're in game, and let's find out if you need to turn your HDR off, because you may not even need to. Your TV, your monitor may not be compatible, but go to your options, go to settings, go down to display, and if you scroll down and if you see a option that says HDR calibration, then we need to turn this off, okay? We need to remove the HDR calibration option, and this will bring your game back to the SDR color scheme. If you select this option, it'll bring you to the actual calibration page where you'll have 3 slider bars. And I'm gonna tell you right now, there's nothing you can do to really make the picture quality look the way it should with your contrast, the paper white, and the peak brightness. You actually have to drop the brightness down so low to get a more realistic picture. It just doesn't look good. So just keep that in mind, okay? Here we are again. I have my HDR turned on. And as you can see here, the blues look good, the reds pop, but they're just oversaturated. And the sunrise, it's overwhelming. It washes out everything. All of your whites just wash out. Up next, what we're going to do is we're going to compare some screenshots of images of HDR being off and then the HDR feature being on. And what we can tell here is we're going to do this with a backdrop of black to white. That's how you really tell. So the first one is HDR off. This is with HDR on. You can already tell the difference in the brightness and the darkness. HDR is off with this image here. Again, we're comparing the darkest darks to the whitest whites. Here, HDR is on, and you can really get an idea of that bloom effect on the dry erase boards. On the left, HDR is off. On the right, HDR is on. Look at the coloring of my suit with the black duffel bag. Now, it would appear on the right that the red looks better, right? That is a filter. That's the HDR effect. That's the oversaturation. But look at the black on the bag. The detail gets drowned out. You really can't see anything. Compared to the duffel bag on the left with the HDR off, you got a lot more detail that you can make out. And you still get the dark blacks that make the bag what it is. It's a black leather bag, right? On this image, let's look at a couple of things first. Let's take a look at the Old School Gamer logo on the left with the HDR off. That's much more natural. It's much more clear and visible. On the right, the colors are more vibrant, right? They're more electric. That's that HDR filter, but it's less visible and it's a little bit more distorted. But look at the lights though. The light on the left seems to be more dull, whereas on the right, the light is more bright because of the HDR effect, but that is a washout effect. Same with that table down there in the bottom right corner. Let's look at the dry erase board. With HDR off on the left, you can actually see the different color of the actual markers. You got the red circling the lost contract, which is written in black. And then the description of the contract is written in blue, and then your payout is visible in green. And then look at the magnets that are holding the photos up. You can easily tell the different colors: blue, yellow, green, red. And then compare this to the same image with HDR on the right, and then you can't tell any of the different colors of the writing, of the magnets, and even that picture of the car on the right. It gets drowned out in the darks, and then it gets washed out with the lighter of the whites. It looks bad. It does not look good with the HDR on at all. We had the same thing here. Look on the left, the image with the HDR off. If you look at the dry erase board, you can see the boxes with the X's drawn through them, and then compare that to the image on the right with HDR on. Not only is it just a darker image, but it's also washed out because of the HDR filter, and you can no longer see, you can't make out what's written on the dry erase board. You can't really see those boxes with the X's drawn through them. It's much more difficult. And when you do a side-by-side comparison, you can really tell the difference, and it does make an impact on your gaming experience. I want you guys to have all the information to make the best choices, and I want you to enjoy this game and get the most out of it, okay? Now let me show you how to turn the HDR feature off. Now I'm on the PS5 Pro, but it should be similar with the Xbox X. If you do have an Xbox, let us know in the comments down below. But you want to go to your settings icon and enter into your settings menu. Then you want to go all the way down to where it says screen or video or whatever is comparable for Xbox. And then you'll scroll, you'll be already be on video output. Just scroll over to the right and then go all the way down to where you see HDR. Now, it doesn't matter if your HDR says always on or on when supported. It doesn't matter. You have to turn it off. And unfortunately, for the other games that you like to play, you'll have to turn the HDR back on if you want to use that feature. Okay, me personally, I'm not a big fan of HDR. Anyways, though, turn your HDR off on your actual console settings. Also, if you have something that says deep color output, make sure that says off as well. Don't have that on automatic. Turn it off also. And then the most important thing, you have to close app on the game. You have to completely close app, or just power cycle if you want to, but close app, then restart it, and you should be good to go. You can test it by going into your options, your settings in the game, and then under display, you should no longer see the HDR calibration. And then this is a comparison, HDR off on the left, HDR on the right. And to be honest, the footage I have on the left, it was a cloudy day in the game. It will be more vibrant, but you can see how much more natural and realistic and accurate and just much more pleasing to the eye. Your reds, greens, and blues are not cartoonishly oversaturated. The whites are not washing everything out. All the darks are not drowning out your picture where you can't see anything. It is much better. This is the way the game should be viewed. Now, you could argue it should be better, right? Of course, yeah. Well, again, it's a 13-year-old game, but this is the way it should look. And again, my footage, this is a cloudy day. It's about to start raining, so it'll be more vibrant on a sunny day. But even with this image dulled down because it's a cloudy day compared to the oversaturated HDR sunny day image, you can it's just a better overall quality look. It really is. It just makes the game much more enjoyable. You still have the brilliant colors, but they're not oversaturated to where they look cartoonish. All right, so there you guys have it. Check those settings out. You can always swap it back if you don't like it, but let me know in the comments down below if this helped out. If it did, make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on if you want to see more like this. If you want to go above and beyond, hit the join button down below to find out how to become a member. You can also leave a super thanks donation in the comments as well. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. All right. Peace out. Yeah.